Welcome, everyone, to War in the Soul City. Last night, Dana had the pleasure of meeting a lovely Malkavian by the name of Anastasia, who is somewhat well known in the city for being quiet as a mouse and equally as sleuthy in her investigation tactics. And thus, when Dana was directed towards her, she struck up a conversation, and in return, Anastasia asked to be presented and introduced to Kyle Calhoun, a notable young neonate Ventru who is descended from their beloved prince. Rodney has been doing a number of his own things in doing some investigation, searching through dumpsters, searching through contacts, and has the intention of doing more of that today to hopefully maybe get to the bottom of what's going on in the Flowwood domain with the Anarchs. And so, before we jump into things, I would like to get some thoughts from our little investigators. In their own respects, they have been gathering information on the same problem from two different fronts. And so, Dana, what are your thoughts on Anastasia and the rest of what's going on?
The little swallow flying in the middle of the moonlight, trying to grab a small piece of the stars. How amusing. I've taken to consider their approach. Why is it that she needs me to end up making the contacts? And I don't think that's actually what I'm here for. Don't get me wrong, the chance to end up meeting someone with a association of any sort with our beloved prince, he upon the throne at the top of the mountain, well, let's just say that there's more than one approach one can take. The tricky part is finding him, and so I will be endeavoring to end up doing so. Apparently he has not selected a coterie of which to associate, and Anastasia wants to end up being the one to associate. I never made any promises of them making. I only promised that I would give the opportunity. Well, as I'm far more akin to being in the limelight than I am ducking and wielding through shadow, well, there's no skin on my undead nose.
Perhaps the one who's a little bit more accustomed to skulking in the dark places and remaining out of sight amongst the dig team is Rodney, fishing through trash, looking for any sort of movement. You've been busying yourself with a bunch of the little things, haven't you?
Yes. Yes. Lots and lots. But nothing useful. Well, names. Names. Big names. Baron Thresh. Gregory Blunt. Joseph Gutenberg. Interesting names. Names that I get to make use of.
Your mic's kind of cutting in.
Names that Dana could make use of. And it's interesting that Mr. Austin Wright was the last one to get attacked by the next push that I know of. That could be something I can use too. But, I need more. More information, more secrets. I need to know what's happening there. So I'll start on the border.
On the border is definitely very close to crossing that border. Lord knows what'll happen if you do. But our lovely kindred awake for the night. I would like you both to make rouse checks. Rodney, you're very, very happy that it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to wake those aching bones. The fact that they ache rather than feel like dead, stiff material is perhaps a comfort. You don't have to work nearly as hard to wake yourself up tonight. It's the little things you can be happy about. And the same goes for you, Dana.
Well, it's the small things.
Indeed. And so, we begin with the very first item for tonight. Rodney, first thing this evening, goes back to the streets of this particular domain, the dig team's domain, going back to the dumpsters and to the contacts and to every little nook and cranny to see if you can find anything within that would lead you on that trail. So, how do you plan to go about that, Mr. Drummond?
Well, first, I start with the dumpsters. They're always handy, always full of little bits and pieces that people forget or think that they don't need, but there's so much that you can get from the trash. He goes digging, looking for old newspapers, bits and pieces, anything with any kind of mention of the Flowwood area. And anything else he can dig up while he's at it.
I would like you to make me a resolve and streetwise. And you can add your ally's effectiveness, which is a +1 to this roll. Or +2, rather. Ooh, look at you.
Put a +1 and a +2. Oh well.
Oh well. Roll one more, see what happens.
Okay.
Alright, so 7. You find a rather pristine looking newspaper from today in one of the garbage cans. It's actually legible. Like, the ink isn't smeared. It's actually in relatively good shape for having dug it out of a trash can. You kind of settle yourself into a corner and start to read, kind of skimming through. you find nothing out of the ordinary as far as the mention of Flowwood goes. You see the usual. This person's obituary. That person got arrested. This other kind of brief house fire happened. There's nothing remarkable about any of it, really. But you can't help but wonder, going through some of the other information there. You have names that you're looking for, so you start to wonder, okay, who is this Joseph? Who is some of the other names that were given to you by Ianto? Why does he know them? He's an information broker. He's supposed to know. And so you start connecting some things, and well, maybe these people are connected. Maybe they're connected by someone. Someone's got to be. There has to be a missing link. There's something there that you're missing, and it doesn't seem to be present in the papers or in the information that your contacts give you. They tell you that life is ordinary. But there is one person that you run into, or at least spot, as you're making your rounds, kind of just patrolling. She's talking to a young man. It's that pretty woman, Liv, from your coterie. She must be doing the same thing that you are.
Oh no. Oh no. Rodney slips off to the shadows to wait for whatever conversation is happening between Liv and this man to end, listening from a distance if he can.
You don't have heightened senses, so this is going to be a fairly difficult wits awareness. Because there is traffic in the background and all of the other kind of ambient noise of the city. No, it's there's no way. The noise of the early evening of December, and it's getting in the way of you being able to overhear from this distance.
Too much.
To the point that it's slightly distracting, actually.
Is there any way that I can get closer without being seen?
Do you have unseen passage, like some of your other Nosferatu companions?
Not yet.
Then, walking closer unseen, you're pretty sure that you're gonna get noticed if you start walking toward.
He's just going to sit and wait for her to finish that. And when she does finish, he will approach.
You see that Liv shakes the hand of the individual, kind of. Her back is kind of turned toward you, and she turns around and starts to make her way down the street, leaving this person to their business and her to go about hers, assume. But something nags at you. There's some kind of secret here. There's some kind of secret that you need to know. And it just itches in the back of your mind, and there's something here. There's something about all of this situation, something about Liv, something about her contacts. Maybe it's something about yourself, Rianto. But something. You're under your Nosferatu compulsion. You have to learn something. A secret about someone or something. And you're at a -2 penalty to any dice rolls not meant to gain that secret.
Rodney makes his way after Liv. Kind of making his way up behind her to grab her on the shoulder with those long claw-like hands of his.
And she whips around fairly quickly and looks at you. Makes
A coin
a
or two to spare.
Rodney. She sounds a little surprised to see you. Sorry, what was that? You caught me off guard.
Have you been having a good night?
Of course, just doing my rounds.
I had hoped to pick your brain. Or something. Not in a literal sense.
Well, I would hope not. Otherwise, I may have to retaliate. But what would you like to know?
There is... Haru. Have you heard anything from across the border recently?
No. That's what worries me. She kind of looks in the direction where you know the Flowwood neighborhood is. Not that she's looking at across any particular street, just in a direction that you know that particular neighborhood to be. It's quiet.
Rodney takes a quick glance around. Where are they? Are they like in the middle of the street, or?
No, you're kind of in a bit of an alleyway. It's not very well lit. You're you know to keep out of the light, and she knows that you should definitely not be seen to any degree. So she's not drawing any attention to you.
I was wondering if perhaps you might like to take me on your rounds near the border next time.
Well,
Someone to
I was about to head that way myself just now. If you want to join me now.
Of course, let me accompany you. And he does this very awkward, lanky bow, throwing one hand out to the side.
Stop it. You're drawing attention to yourself. She starts to walk towards a direction.
He just kind of follows after. You were talking to a man before.
Yes. One of the many people that I talk to when it comes to the daily things.
Daily.
Yes.
Talk to people daily.
Yes.
How?
Well, it kind of helps that I don't have a face like yours. And you notice that she's not actually looking toward you at all. She's just walking straight ahead, facing straight forward.
Face. Yes. 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 My face. My face is a face.
That it is.
Do you, you don't get sick of people?
I get sick of people when they're being tedious.
What do you call tedious?
Not getting directly to the point. I have very little time, even with as much time as we have in a given day, to be dilly-dallying with the niceties. I'm a woman of action, Rodney. I'm not a woman of talk. So ask your questions, please.
I have been. But also, are there any ways into Flowwood without being seen? Oh no.
Into Flowwood without being seen. It's tricky, because you never know how many anarchs there actually are, or how many of them have shared amongst themselves whatever sight that they might have. It's kind of disgusting when you think about it.
That they don't share?
That they share too much. Horrors of Satan and everything else.
Or horrors of...
Yes. Haven't you heard that drinking of another vampire's blood is taboo?
It's not a pastime I had ever considered.
You shouldn't. I don't know what kind of anarchs are behind that border, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're just as disgusting as the Sabbat. And the Sabbat are pretty disgusting. Why do you want to know about Flowwood? And about getting in? That's my question.
It's been quiet.
Yes, it has. And that bothers you, doesn't it? I've been asking the same thing. You have any answers?
Nobody answers. Because nobody knows. Or if they do know, it's not big enough to share.
Well, I have no way of confirming it because I've not actually captured one of the anarchs because don't seem to go out much from what I've seen. Maybe you can just walk right in and they won't even care. But are they planning something?
Do you think they are?
I suspect a lot of things about the anarchs. I try not to let it get to that point. That's why I do my rounds. If somebody crosses into our territory, I'll know about it.
And nobody's been poking around the edges.
The only person I've seen poking around the edges was Malice the other night. But that's it. Nothing from the other side. What's your opinion of our Hakata friends?
I try not to develop opinions about people.
But we do anyway.
Yes, well,
Come on,
what do you
Rodney.
think?
And for the first time, she's actually kind of looking at you in this walk. You can tell little me your opinions. Not like I'd blab.
I trust them as much as I trust you. That is my opinion.
Which is how much exactly?
I trust that you won't take me in my sleep. Maybe. I think.
Well, you haven't given me a reason to yet. So no. Currently, that is true.
See?
But give me a reason to, and I might. So don't give me a reason to.
Did not intend on it.
Good. Then we can work together splendidly.
Yes. Why are you and Dana so hard to talk to?
I don't know. Why is that?
I don't know.
You seem to be getting along just fine right now. We're talking very matter-of-factly and to the point. Just how I like it.
Yes, but in my brain, my head, I'm running on a hamster wheel, trying to understand what's going on.
Sometimes understanding comes after the fact. Sometimes you
Hmm.
have to take action before you know exactly what's going on. But don't act too rashly, or somebody, higher up, like our beloved prince, might bring down the hammer and say, well, you fucked up. In nicer words. He's far more eloquent than I am.
You have never fucked up?
Not in a way that would make it worthwhile for them to get rid of me. Let's just put it that way. I've made myself extremely useful, especially during the first years of my embrace, in getting rid of the Sabbat in this city. I'm sure you've heard about my reputation.
Yes.
And because of that, my wonderful sire has taken me back under her wing, and now I am free to do as I will, having been educated. More or less.
More or less.
I mean, occasionally I do have to, rather cooperatively on my part, as I rather do enjoy getting rid of bloodstains on this city. Have to do my part.
We all do.
Yes. And so I do my part.
Hmm.
And I'm very good at my part, Rodney.
I've noticed.
So, I have further rounds to do. Were you planning on accompanying me all night?
No. I think we will part ways.
Did you get everything you wanted?
Not really. Is it that you... hamster wheel.
Sometimes it helps if you let the hamster wheel out your mouth.
We got distracted with Horse of Satan.
I didn't take you for much of a person who would,
Not what I meant. Border entry from here to there. It's tricky.
It's tricky because they're quiet. You don't know who's watching. But nothing is stopping you from walking right across that street that lines the border and directly into their territory. Nothing's stopping you. Unless, of course, you get punched in the face. And they have some pretty mean brouhaha.
So if I go over there, I'll take you with me.
I thought you'd never ask. Tell me when.
I will inform you. For now, there are no ways in unseen that you know of, besides just walking on the street.
I saw you walking up.
Yes.
So it's safe to assume that maybe they can too. Contingency
Hmm.
plans.
Hmm.
Plan for it. If you're not very good at being silent.
Hmm. And yet you were still so surprised. Good night. And he starts to walk away.
Good night, Rodney, she says under her breath, trying not to draw attention to you.
He's gonna head back to the hotel.
In the meantime, Dana, what have you been up to?
Well, outside of my offering to the prince, making sure that, and I have no reason to think otherwise, that nothing has been out of sorts, I have been taking it upon myself to start looking into how to get in touch with this Kyle Calhoun. I'm curious on how it'll end up going. I'm also waiting on news from Rodney, and just to know exactly what those anarchs are up to. It is concerning to me a great deal that they've gone so quiet. It's frustrating. I'd like to at least get ahead of the curve at the very least. I will continue my rounds towards the armory, see on how it's doing, make a few phone calls, make sure deliveries are met, etc., etc. I really need to end up looking to gain a secretary for this kind of work. It takes up so much of my time during the evenings, and I can't afford to be running around, especially in, well, the locations where I find myself all too. Though the visit to the historic district was, well, very pleased to say.
I mean, there's always the option that Ted could be the facilitating manager of the place.
Could be.
Not that you've
But
really asked him much about it.
true. But there's also the fact that I need to end up keeping a profile and to be. So until I have another reason to be found missing, just keep up appearances. After all, first tradition.
Mm-hmm. The oh so precious first tradition. But after a few phone calls and a few text messages to your lovely little beau, David, you find that you hear the footsteps of Rodney coming down into the haven portion of the hotel. You've been going back and forth between David with texts, keeping up appearances that you are indeed very interested in him, for instance. And after a little while, Rodney does come to the haven. Which might be a breath of fresh air since you were maybe getting a little bored.
Have we lost Derek?
Did we? Oh, we might have. He's frozen. Oh no. Oh no. Derek. Oh, I also realized that I had not actually changed the scene. Whoops. I'm a professional streamer.
Yay!
So yes. Hello, chat. How are you enjoying?
How are you today?
Yep, we lost him.
Oh,
Well, I suppose this is a good portion to give a brief shout out to our lovely Void 91 glitch for cheering the bits spent into the channel points. Black Wolf, if we could get a shout out to him, because he also streams.
ooh,
Yes, he's my brother.
nice.
Yeah. I think we're waiting for Derek to get back. See what if there was a message. Okay. Well, I think we're going to take a quick break, everybody. And we'll be back when Derek rejoins the call to work out some more of this. Unless, of course, there's something that Rodney would like to do before getting to the Haven.
I mean, he did want to go and check out, like, actually physically check out the sewer entrances and whatnot that pass through from one side to the other.
Yeah, that was part of your investigation role. That I forgot to mention that. Since you did get 7 successes on a crit, then you know which ones lead into there, but you don't know if they're monitored by any of the other Nosferatu in the city, or if they're monitored by anarchs. You can't really tell that. But you do know that you have seen the kinds of marks and things that the anarchs use to delineate their claimed spaces, and what spaces are claimed inside and outside of that territory as Camarilla, because borders do need to be defined, and that territory is still considered part of the city.
Yes.
It's just where the anarchs have been quarantined.
It's a nice way of putting it. Quarantine.
They have made Prince Calhoun upset far too many times.
I really can't think of anything else for Rodney right now.
Okay.
Seems like he's kind of gotten all the information he possibly can without delving directly into Flowwood itself.
Which is probably the next step that you would have to take to be completely certain. But that also runs the risk of being detected by anarchs.
Risk he wants to take. So yeah, he's just got to tell Dana what he knows and kind of try and measure the risk and reward of going in there himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, we are going to be back, everyone, and take a brief break while we figure out the situation with what Derek's internet situation is, because it's been derping a little bit today. So we'll be right back, and actually, there he is.
I
Yay!
Hey, you're
So-
back. We were
Worked.
stalling.
DNF worked. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's not no problem at all. We were just going over a little bit of extra information that Rodney would have that I forgot to mention,
No
based on
problem.
his successes. But now that is all settled, Rodney is now present in the haven, and you, Dana, were looking slightly bored with the text messages you were getting from your quote boyfriend David.
Well, we'll end up making it work. And I noticed this particular smell, so it's that faint scent of sewer and cat litter.
Both of which
Oh.
smell like ammonia.
Now, where did I leave that bottle of bleach? Oh, hi, Rodney. I didn't see you there.
What could you possibly need bleach for?
I find my nasal cavities have been assailed as of recent. But now that you're here, that clears everything. So how are you?
Around.
I can smell that. I see that.
How are you this evening?
Being accosted at every moment.
What is accosting you? I see nothing.
It's a matter that will be settled. I assure you. So, what can I end up doing for you, my lumpsome friend?
I don't think it's so much as what you can do for me, but what I can do for you. Yes?
You aren't that cute.
Oh, please. I know I'm not. Have you come across anything concerning Flowwood?
No, but there is news I'm waiting to end up hearing from a little birdie. Till then, it looks like I'm going to have to end up going out to a swingers club in order to end up making sure everything ends up balancing out.
Maybe I can provide you with some names then.
Some name.
People within the Anarch territory, supposedly. Perhaps
By
could
all
be useful.
means. By all means.
Baron Thresh. Supposedly a gangrel and one of the oldest amongst the Anarchs. Gregory Ballon. He's on a hit list. He's a Bruja. And one that not entirely sure that they're still there. Joseph Gutenberg, who is a Tremere, who apparently took half the chantry with him when he left.
Dana, you remember
However-
that.
Yeah. However, he is like the morning star.
Those are probably the people holding the domain together. I think there might be another one that connects them all, but I'm not sure. haven't found out yet.
Any idea as to what they've been doing?
Not yet. In order to get anything else, I would have to potentially go in there and risk kicking the hornet's nest.
Well, last time I checked, this city doesn't belong to the Anarchs. Think of them like squatters. Just because they're staying there doesn't mean that they belong there.
Yes. But I don't believe stirring up trouble unnecessarily is a good idea.
Are you not able to end up hiding yourself well, Rodney? Or is it something else that makes you cautious from going there? I mean, of all of us, let's be honest here, you are the one who is most likely to go by unnoticed, or at the very least, most would end up turning away the moment they realized your presence. If there was any one out of our entire coterie I would trust to be able to get in without kicking the hornet's nest, then wouldn't it be you?
I'm skilled, but I'm not that skilled.
That's a pity.
There is always a potential that I'll be seen. I do my best to mitigate.
But what about your little friend there? I see you talking, and it meows at you occasionally like it understands what you're saying.
It does.
And
but my clan is not the only clan with such abilities.
And Charles kind of nuzzles up against your half-rotted off ear.
Rodney reaches up and gives him a scritch.
Kind of nibbles on your finger already. A bit.
It's hungry. Even I can see that. You do know that cats will eat their owners when they think that the owner is dead, right? So, yes. Why keep a cat around, knowing that the moment you go in torpor, I mean, how many more toes are you going to lose to that animal?
You've woken up to Charles and several of the others kind of just munching on you occasionally.
He does not mind. He seems completely okay with this idea.
It's probably one of the ways that you keep them bloodbound.
I just go to sleep and I wake up and they like me more.
They like me. So they eat me. And they like me more.
I feel like I'm going to throw up. No. We're evading this line of questioning any further. I don't have a stomach for it. All right. So a few of those names I am familiar. We need to know what's happening, and it's right on our doorstep. But neither us nor the Hound has any idea where... I just don't like it, Rodney. I really don't. I don't like the fact that we can't look them in the eye. I don't like the fact that I feel like a leashed animal just having to wait and hope that they end up on the property. I don't like it one bit.
So why don't you go in?
You go in there and they ask, who are you? I go in there and they know exactly. Problems with being a public face, and all.
I spoke with Liz. Liv.
Well, you must be improving in her eyes then, because you're now on speaking terms.
Oh. She spoke. I asked a few questions and tried not to annoy her.
Well done. Well done, Rodney.
She will be happy to back me up if I do decide to go in there.
Definitely the way you want to end up going about it, I'm no doubt. What about...
But everyone that I've spoken to has said it's particularly difficult. No wood have been seen. Even if we stick our big toe in there, they will likely know.
Likely, but not guaranteed. And there are ways to mitigate it. I guess that's my own fault. I'm not accustomed to dealing with Nosferatu. Your capabilities have been perhaps exaggerated. It's my fault for believing the hype. Entirely my fault.
You know what? It's fine. You asked for information, I gave you some. I
Very
will.
well. So, I believe that means that you and me have an accord. So with that, how can I help you make your life a little easier, such as it is?
Make my life easier. You still have that address that I gave you?
Well and tailored.
Okay. That's
Do
still...
you need it?
No. Just hold on to it for now. We had plans for that. I'm just gonna go find more information where I can.
Rodney, try and stay safe. As much as your unique perfume can be grating, what would be worse is me having to live and in a world where I'm now missing. Tragedy, it seems, knows no ends.
I'm just gonna go.
That way, yes. Go.
Yes.
Yeah, that way. Fantastic. God, I feel like I shower now. Ugh.
There's plenty of them in this particular place, Dana.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't like me around Ron. I really don't. Rewind the clock before I died, and it wouldn't be an issue. You know, if anything, I might feel bad for him. part of me I think still does. But just being around him does something. Don't know why.
Never really did get a clear answer from Alston.
No, I suppose I didn't. It's like everything. It's. I think half the reason I spend most of my time in the hotel, or more than I normally would, is just because at least it's easy on the eye. It's not like the back alleys or the beer store or something like that, where
It's
you hear it.
clean. Might be a little nondescript, but it's clean.
I check my messages before I go and have a shower. Just to get my mind off of it. I can still smell it, even though he left the room. I still smell it.
Put him out of his goddamn misery.
Don't start thinking that, Dana. Don't. You're making the best of the situation as you can. You can't just let the past lie.
But can't let the past lie, though. He brought up names that I know.
I want to just claw their eyes out. Like I said, I feel like I'm leashed, like as if I'm stuck and I gotta stay here. And I almost wish they'd do something just so this way I don't feel like I can't. I have a shower and get dressed. I guess I'm gonna have to go start looking for Calhoun. I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
Who knows? You have your shower. It is almost as if you're scraping that initial layer of skin off of yourself, and every time it reforms, you feel like you have to scrape it off again because it's still there. But after a while, you come out of the shower, get yourself dressed in something appropriate for seeing a Ventru. But where does one find a Ventru?
Probably up in a board meeting somewhere. Emphasis on the word board. But as always, Elysium. Might not meet him there, but might find some does.
There's always that. The keeper keeps an open door.
Very least, and end up finding a way to get in contact with the man. I get everything ready, grab my keys, and start heading out the door. Even the wait in the elevator just feels wrong. You ever... It's like your eyes are open to little things. Like, I already know the elevator's slanting a little bit to the left. Like, it's not perfectly level, but no one else notices it. No. I don't know, I'm just noticing things more.
And with that, we'll be right back, everyone. And we'll discover what Dana might find at Elysium, and what Rodney might find maybe poking his nose where he shouldn't. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to War in the Soul City. Dana has gone out into the night to see if she can maybe gather some data on who this Kyle A. Calhoun is and where he might hang out, as it were, while Rodney stays behind to maybe mull over some information in his mind and maybe have a conversation with Charles and some of the other cats that reside in this bunker, as it were. A bunker of Rodney's design, no less. You know, where every nook and cranny is.
Come to me, my pretties. Rodney kind of paces around, kind of muttering to himself about how supposedly the Nosferatu have been over-verbalized. No. I'm going to make a point. A point.
Charles just kind of nuzzles you a little bit because he can see you're getting a little frustrated.
Charles, retrieve the others. We're going to have a little family meeting.
And after a moment, he goes and hops off of your hunch, goes into the rest of the bunker, and starts chasing some of the other cats in this place toward you.
Herding cats. With a cat.
Like a sheepdog, that one. But once you know that a sufficient number of the cats, you don't even know how many you actually have here, but a sufficient number of them are here. Charles just kind of snakes his way between your legs and sits down in a chair that you've set aside for him.
Rodney gives him a bit of a scratch on the head as a little thank you. And I'm going to use my feral whisper.
To use it on the other cats, you would need a rouse check. And is feral whispers only one target, or is it multiple?
It's one type of animal.
One type of animal. Okay. Okay.
Allows one summoning and unlimited communication.
Okay. Fantastic.
He looks around at the moving sea of cats before him. Good evening, my friends. I have a request to make of you all.
Some of them look disinterested, just kind of licking their paws. There's one who maybe tries to get a little close, but knows that he shouldn't get too close. Some of them look at you very quizzically.
I have welcomed you all into my home. I have fed you and kept you reasonably safe. Now I would like you to do something for me. I need you to be my eyes and ears. Find the ones that smell like the dead. In
One kind of pipes up. Smells like you.
more like those that live upstairs, the dead one.
You're all creepy. Most of them say.
But you still live here.
If a cat could shrug, you would see a shrugging motion.
There are ones in a place called Flowwood. Do I know what the cats would call that area?
I would say that since you have had these cats for a long time, you would have that knowledge, yes. So you would call it by an appropriate name. And they kind of murmur amongst themselves a little bit.
I need information on what the dead ones over there smell like, what they're doing, what they're up to.
The dead ones eat us. One of them pipes up.
There are those from that area that eat you, or here?
It's better here.
Yes.
So many friends go missing. So many enemies go missing. Dogs, cats, fish, even alligators. Nobody goes to Flowwood.
Is it because they get eaten?
There are monsters that eat us.
Dead ones?
I've never seen. I've never smelled. And a lot of them say the same thing. But stories.
I see. Are these stories new or old?
Both.
Are there any that survive?
We never see anyone again. You hear one cat across the room say, "I lost a whole litter to them once. Never again."
Rodney kind of wades through the cats, careful not to stand on anyone, towards the one that said they lost the litter. He pets her head. It is all right. Never mind going over. You've told me some very interesting things. Would you, however, keep eyes and ears on the edge.
You would have
Do you
us
do
risk
that?
our life.
No. Safe distance.
Safe distance is here.
Make sure the monsters don't come here.
We can make sure the monsters don't come here.
And tell me what you see. Don't go near them. Just watch. Can you do that?
You get some affirmatives as if they're nodding and murmuring yes.
Thank you, my friend. And if any of you is harmed by them, you tell me.
They kind of look amongst each other and back at you. You're not like them. You don't eat us.
My friends. Friends do not eat each other.
And with that, a lot of them kind of scatter to the different places in the hotel and may find themselves a new perch somewhere in the building.
Okay. That's something, at least. But it seems that animals are not how they are holding surveillance.
So what does that mean then? Does that mean that the anarchs are only feeding on animals? Do they feed on humans? What are their conditions like?
Rodney can't help but think of the technicians on the line. Or if lean times were to strike. And perhaps there's a connection there. Kindred are being driven to eat animals so often that they won't even go near the area. They must not have a huge portion of humans to eat.
I would like you to roll me an intelligence streetwise.
Yep.
Are you going to leave it at 3?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Based on how long you've been in this city, the reason that you suspect that they may be feeding on animals predominantly more than humans is because the human population of that neighborhood isn't terribly big. There's a lot of land space, but a lot of it's not developed into housing or anything like that. And past Flowwood is the reservoir. And the reservoir houses who knows how many creatures.
Kind of been driven into a corner where they must consume animals in order to survive. That also means that it's unlikely they're surveying the borders with animals.
Your mic's kind of dropped out.
It means that it is also unlikely that they're surveying the border with animals, which means that they must be doing it some other way, if they are surveying at all.
It also kind of calls into question, do you know why they are even there in the first place?
Then how are they also getting their information?
Your mic cut out again. I didn't hear what you said.
Rodney wondering how they get their information. He was told by his sire that going into Flowwood you need to be exceptionally quiet.
So if they're not using the people for food, what are they using them for?
Interesting. He's going to head to the border's edge again. Kind of trying to keep a low profile, as low as he can. And he's going to go through the tunnel system into the sewers.
Alright. Then into the sewers and out towards the Flowwood neighborhood you go. I would like you to do a quick I'm going to say resolve and stealth.
Resolve stealth?
Yes, you're taking your time to make sure that you're not very noticeable. You're spending a lot of time trying to be as stealthy as you can.
I wouldn't get my break-in bonus from this, would I?
You're not breaking into an actual building, no. You crawl through a manhole cover, kind of situated in.
Leave. He just wants to stay inside. For now, he kind of wants to get a feel for the area.
Okay.
It's a little underground.
I get a feel for the underground, under Flowwood. Okay. So, you could be thankful that there's some ambient water dripping noise. It covers some of your footfalls, because while there's a lot of pipes and things like that that are not made for human size interaction, there is some access tunnels which you slip into through a manhole cover, and you get your sense of direction and you head towards the the underbelly of the Flowwood neighborhood. And the thing that you notice first off is there is very little in the way of what might be considered sewer wildlife. There's nothing down here doing anything at all.
So there's no rats or mice or anything of the sort.
Not that you can see. Now, you don't have anything that would give you dark vision, do you? Like heightened senses or sense the unseen or anything of that sort. So you're kind of walking down here blind. The only light sources that you have are what you see through the very few and far between spaces where lamppost light can get in. You're kind of like scraping your hand up against the wall in order to kind of follow it in the direction that you're going. And this access tunnel does go a long way. And in one of those places where the street lamp light comes in the strongest, you do see markings down here.
I want to take note of those markings. Do I know what they're marked with? Like if they're carved into the wall, whether they're spray painted?
They're like spray painted from what you can tell.
Yep. Any particular, like I'm going to keep note of colours, shapes that are used, because these are potentially kindred markings. And I'm going to start mentally mapping the area, trying to figure out the way that they've set up their borders, their domains.
Now, because you can't see down here, I am going to allow you to make a resolve intelligence to maintain some of that knowledge, but it is going to be at a -2 penalty because you're in the dark.
Work. I don't think that rolled properly.
Is your normal dice pool 5 for resolve intelligence? With 2 successes, it goes on for a straight length for quite a bit. But then you start getting to a point where you've reached a cross section where there's a path in front of you, a path to your left, and a path to your right, and so you end up following one of those paths, finding more of those markings the further in to what you assume to be the Flowwood domain at this point, in those spots where the street light comes in. But you kind of lose your bearings for a second. You're not sure, did you go left or did you go right? Wait, did I go right or did I go left? In which order was it? You're racking your brain for quite a moment here as you're as you're down here. What do you do?
There is no real way to get my bearings down here, is there? The main problem with sewers is they all look. I make my way to the nearest manhole. And I pop the lid just enough to see out. Can I see any street signs?
Make me a resolve or a wits awareness. Because you are still in the dark. No, it seems like you're in the middle of a street. Any street signs are too far away to see from here.
Can I see where the next intersection was?
It's about 100 yards in the forward direction.
And are there people on the street? Or is this residential?
It's all residential.
Anyone wandering around?
Given how late it is in the night, no, there's nobody wandering.
I'm going to make my way in the direction of the nearest manhole cover in the direction of that street sign, of that intersection. He's going to try popping his head out again and taking a look.
I would like you to make me another dexterity stealth. Ooh, 6 on a messy crit.
Would like to roll that 0, please.
Feel free.
There was also 2 others that didn't pass there, aren't there?
Right, yes.
I'll also reroll those.
Okay. Okay. That still makes it a messy crit.
Okay.
So while you might have kind of resigned yourself to not really learning any new secrets about Liv, there's still something tickling the back of your mind. Still something here. There's always something here. There is something here. What is it? What is it? They're up to something. What are they doing? You have to know. And so you're being as quiet, tiptoeing your way wherever it is that you find yourself going next. You're as light-footed as you've ever been. But you have to find out. There's something else going on here. You don't know what it is, but you need to know what it is. You need to know what it is. And so you're under your Nosferatu compulsion once more.
Do I manage to see the street sign?
You do. And you see that it's a street fairly close to the reservoir. You've made it pretty deep into the neighborhood.
So knowing that, can I figure out which way the reservoir is?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. It's the giant lake in the middle of the city.
So he's going to start making his way in that direction.
Topside or no?
Not topside.
Okay. So you would.
He's still mapping out where these markings are, and like trying to figure out where each domain ends and begins, and taking in what each one is.
You start heading in that direction. And just as you feel like you're about to. You're peeking your head out of a manhole cover, headed towards the reservoir, because this particular section of the sewers don't run toward the and into the reservoir. That's going from the treatment plant. You're not in the treatment plant. And so you make your way out of the closest manhole to the reservoir, continuing to work silently. There's something here, something about this place, something about Flowwood. Something about it's just off.
How many domains how many domain markings, different domain markings have I passed since entering?
Only one. It's consistent, and it's the same. Anarchs typically, from your experience, don't usually fly under just one banner, unless there's a small number of them.
It's interesting. He's going to keep that in mind as he makes his way through the shadows towards the reservoir. The reservoir is the other side of this domain, as far as he knows.
It is.
Once he gets there, he's going to probably cross back over to see if he can't find anything new. But a single marking. That's interesting. So he begins to make his way towards the reservoir still. Just keeping to the shadows, keeping an eye out for anything that might be even slightly kindred related, and still keeping an eye out for those markings. Also, I'm assuming there are no animals here.
You see very few.
So I do see animals, but not a lot.
You see... Is that an alligator? That's an alligator.
Seeing the alligator, he pauses. Is it looking at him?
That would be an intelligent animal, Ken. Do you know what an alligator looking at you looks like?
Really? Only two? I'd like to do power reroll, please.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, you're fairly certain those very narrow pupils are looking straight at you.
I would like to use Feral Whispers, naming reptile. Reptiles or amphibian?
Reptile. And so that would be a rouse check. Getting hungrier. Just looking at it. You could get away with munching down on it, right? Everything else in this city, or in this neighborhood, as far as animals go, gets munched on. Are they gonna miss another alligator? Nobody misses alligators.
Alligator can put up a fight. And I don't feel like dealing with jewels on any part of my body. I'll get something to eat later.
Your mic was cutting out again. I didn't hear what you said.
I am hungry, but dealing with the teeth of an alligator is not something that I really want to do.
Yeah, because you're fairly certain that those jaws could rip limbs off.
Yes. The bite strength of an alligator is not something that would be fun.
And recovering from an arm coming off, that's a bitch. You've maybe been there once or twice.
I mean, it was nothing in comparison to the transformation, but not comfortable.
It just costs a lot.
Are you looking at me? He says, kind of edging a little bit closer to the alligator.
You hear it hiss a little bit audibly, and through feral whispers, you understand it to say, "You aren't from around here." I don't know
You're familiar
you.
with those who are from around here?
It ought to be, honey. That gate is mine. You hear a feminine voice from behind you. Well, looky what I found.
This is awkward.
It is awkward. Mind telling me who you are?
I do mind, but that's a nice alligator you have.
She snaps a finger and you hear it hiss from behind you again, sounding a little closer this time.
Well, come on now, there's no need to be rude.
I ain't being rude.
Your gator is hissing at me. That's rude.
Like you said, you ain't from here. Who
No.
are you?
Someone who got lost.
Got lost, huh?
Yes.
Where are you trying to get back to, honey?
Well, I was trying to get into the reservoir so I could take my way back around to the city.
To the city.
Yes.
You're from the city.
Yes. I took a wrong turn.
Then you took a bad wrong turn, honey.
Sorry, what was your name? I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch yours either.
That was intentional.
That's intentional.
There aren't many who can talk to
There aren't many who what?
animals.
Nope.
What we do. And you don't look like me.
I'm pretty sure you can be pretty big brain about it. But I think you're gonna come with me.
Come with you.
Mm-hmm. You don't belong here.
But I do have one.
Dead.
Well, I mean, I've already been there and done that, and I'd rather not be double dead, so perhaps we can come to some kind of agreement.
I don't make agreements with cammies.
What about a Nosferatu?
Nosferatu are cammies in this city, honey. You can hear the hissing of the alligator pressing right behind you. Closer behind you.
But Nosferatu come with certain skill sets.
Right. I'm aware. What are you getting at?
Perhaps we can help one another. The Anarchs have been mostly quiet.
She lets out a very loud and bellowous laughter. Oh, you're funny. Oh, oh, honey, that was such a good laugh.
I've been told I can be funny on occasion. I've also been told that I smell, but I don't believe it.
You do. Something awful. Take a shower once in a while, honey. It does a body good. Why shouldn't I rip you limb from limb right now? Like I said, I don't negotiate with cammies.
Because people are starting to notice that those that live here have been overly quiet.
Big fucking whoop-de-doo. You think that's unusual? When your prince calls for people to wrangle up a bunch of people to store away for future use, you don't think that that's odd? You don't think that that's cruel? You don't think that some of us would rather just go to sleep for a decade or two and then wake up another day when things are a little bit better? Some of us would rather sleep this shit off.
You can sleep it off. I didn't realize that was even possible.
You really are stupid. And that's starting to get under your skin, Rodney.
There are those that have gone missing from the area.
What does that matter to you?
A lot of animals that are fearful don't come back here.
Again, what's that matter to you?
I like animals. That's what matters to me. Better than people.
She looks like she's sizing you up.
You don't have a lot to eat here.
What's your point? I can make chopped liver out of you tonight. I'm sure there's plenty of little thin bloods, or maybe even other vampires who might find Nosferatu. This reeks of ammonia tasty.
So the rumors are true.
I can think of a couple.
Rumors are true. You would happily devour other kindred.
Why not? I don't live by Cammy rules. And I'm getting tired of this conversation.
Well, I was just thinking that when we were human, cannibalism was considered taboo, and it would only make sense that that would carry over to undead. What even happens when you eat another kindred?
Well, I'm sure you're never gonna find out. And she snaps her fingers again, and you can hear that the alligator is racing towards you.
Gotta dig the air grave. Oh no. How do I get out of this?
What do you do, Rodney?
I only got first level potence. That only works
An alligator is still technically immortal.
You know what? Sure. I'm going to lethal body.
Hmm.
And I'm going to punch the alligator in the head.
Okay. Then I would like you to roll me a strength brawl.
Boy. With my partners added.
No, you don't get to add your potence. It just counts as aggravated damage to mortals.
Oh no!
Wait, hold on. you
Oh no!
wait, hang on. You
I have roll one and
it didn't
strength.
it didn't roll any dice. There it goes.
There we
Okay.
go.
An alligator's not super dexterous. I'm gonna call that 3.
And then I'm gonna fucking leg it. If I lose an arm, I lose an arm.
Well, meets it beats. So you're able to like punch it in the mouth. You're pretty sure that you maybe broke its jaw, and then you fucking leg it. The kindred that you're in close quarters with, however, she is going to try and grapple you. So
I
you
want
are
to kind of try and slip out of that.
then that's a dexterity athletics at a -1.
Oh boy. Oh no! Did that roll my dex? Yes, it did.
Yep.
Oh no.
So she has a hold of you. She wasn't intending to hurt you at the moment.
I kind of. What is she holding me by?
She's got her arms locked around you, and you try and slip out of her grip. Her grip is iron solid. It's like trying to pull apart rebar.
Shit. How am I gonna get out of that?
What do you do,
Are
Rodney?
there any trees nearby?
Are there any what?
Any like trees nearby? Or anything solid like a wall?
Close enough. Yeah, you're within like 10 or 20 feet.
He's going to throw his weight back into her to try and kind of push her into something to try and get away. Like, especially if there's like something sticking out, that would be even better. But you know, he's probably not that lucky.
That would be so. This would be a new round. That would be another strength, and I'm going to say since this isn't really you trying to punch her, it's more of an athletic maneuver. I'm going to say strength athletics
Okay.
versus her strength brawl once again.
Oh, this is gonna suck.
She is, however, trying to hurt you this time. That's 2 points of superficial damage, half to 1.
Me.
Stop fucking moving.
Then let me go.
I'm not letting you go. And she's reached for something in she's reached for something on her belt that you didn't realize that she had on her. She is incredibly quick too. And you see that she's got a stake.
Nope. That would immediately hit panic Rodney.
If that's going to cause panic, then I need you to roll a terror frenzy.
No modifiers?
Nope.
Difficulty. No, it's just asking me for an input value.
I'm going to say difficulty 2. You don't care what it means. You are running. You're running with her attached. You're running with her out without attached. You're running into all sorts of trees and things and just trying to get her off of you because you absolutely are terrified. So I would like you to make me a dexterity athletics or a stamina athletics, your choice, and do it at a +2. And she is going to continue to try and hurt you by trying to just shove a stake into your back. You can't willpower that because you're in frenzy. No. But she has to land at least 5 successes in order to stake you. You feel it jabbing into your skin, but that just causes you to get even more freaked out.
Yep.
Because whatever it is that drives your beast, it knows. It knows.
It's like, that is not a good. Let us go. Let's run. Get out of here.
And she's going to try and make a dexterity athletics to try and hang on to you. Because she's one-handed at the moment.
He's bucking like a wild bull.
She's one-handed at the moment as far as hanging on to you, and you're bucking around, so I'm going to give her a -2. So, so yeah, she can't maintain the hold. She lets you go.
And he is running. He doesn't stop.
And you see her flung off in a direction. And that's the last you see of her because you're running. You're running and running and running through the streets. You don't care. You
probably try to get away until he's back in safe ground.
And so you find yourself back across the Flowood neighborhood, back into your own domain. And that is when your inner beast calms down finally. You don't know how many people saw you. You don't know how many people cared. You don't know whether she followed you or not. But you certainly found out a secret. That they have an alligator tamer at the reservoir.
Was that worth it, though?
It certainly seems to have sated your curiosity.
I think that's enough adventure for one night. Stinks. He's gonna start making his way back to the hotel. He's gonna go hide in amongst his things for a little while because that's more than enough for him.
It's funny that you should say that. Because as you're walking towards the hotel, you find that another person is walking in that direction as well. And she's looking straight at you.
He just pulls his hat a little bit lower and just keeps going.
It's almost as if she came out of nowhere. And you see that she's lightly jogging to try and catch up with you.
He slows his steps, but he doesn't stop walking. He kind of gives her a chance to catch up, even though he's had more than enough of people for the evening.
Mind if I join you?
Well, you're so insistent. Can I help you with something?
Well, you certainly made short my stay in that particular neighborhood tonight. Seems only appropriate that I meet face to face with the person who shortened my night.
Mean.
You mean you didn't know?
What?
Your coterie mate Dana asked me specifically to go there tonight. I would have thought she would have passed on that information. Seems that the coterie doesn't actually communicate. That's a shame.
I see.
Well, I suppose we can go ask her together, yeah?
Yes.
And the two of you head towards the hotel. In the meantime, what's Dana been up to? Hanging out at Elysium, if I remember correctly.
That right.
So you make your way to the side of the Elysium, the 4th Avenue Lounge, the beautiful club on the ground floor. But you know that the Elysium is in the bunker underneath. Given that only kindred have been given VIP access to this very exclusive section to the club, and the keeper, Aurelia Delacroix, she welcomes you. Another toreador of note. Miss Rain?
Delacroix. So good to
How are you this evening?
beat me to it. Enjoyed being quick on the draw.
It's my job to be quick on the draw.
I imagine so. I'm doing quite alright. I thought I would drop by, the off chance of running into someone specifically. You wouldn't happen to know if Kyle Calhoun has dropped by recently, would you?
In recent nights? Not particularly.
More's the pity.
He is searching for
But
a
then-
coterie to join after all. He must evaluate his prospects.
Who has his eye so far?
I believe that he's looking to maybe take on... Let's see. I have to think. I have to look at my notes.
I'm glad I'm asking questions that you have notes about.
Well, one particular prospect is here tonight, Mr. Renee Stacy, the tailor.
The tape. Really?
It makes sense, given they're both Ventru.
Yes, but still. Really? Of all things. I would.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you've
for all
seen
of
Mr. Stacy's work. The prince has worn it many times.
Absolutely. I never criticized his work, now have I?
But you would rather
It's
criticize the man, wouldn't you?
I would rather criticize the choice. Let us speak on this. The very concept is that you take individuals who may have a mutual goal, but may or may not be able to cover each other's perspectives, their weaknesses. What one lacks, the other one gains. That is rudimentary in amongst coteries, isn't it?
It is.
So why would you take somebody who already has yours?
Because well, it's not for me to make a comment on,
But you want to.
but you want to as well.
No, I wish to simply end up meeting Kyle Calhoun and see what the measure of the man is. I was, in fact, just now informed that he apparently has a lookout for a coterie. That's an interesting little tidbit of information, which I'm more than grateful.
Well, if it's all the same, it's about time, really. 60 years tutoring under his sire. Seems like a long stint of being leashed. Maybe. But who am I to say?
Wouldn't know.
Ventru tend to be fuddy-duddies that way. Especially the Calhouns.
Well, after all, he is to the prince, so of course there's standards to be maintained.
There are.
Very high standards, no doubt.
Of course.
So, well, let us go see what the man can do. At the very least, maybe he just didn't quite measure. Taylor, measuring, it's a plan.
Yes. Yes. Quite funny. And she gestures you towards the entrance after the both of you have ridden this elevator down into the bunker. And she gestures for you to enter while she rides the elevator back up to the top floor.
I give the response a curtsy, even though I myself am not wearing a formal dress, so to speak. More using my jacket to end up simulating the movement. But then again, I've never been much more for formalities. Take a look about the Elysium, trying to get a measure of individuals. See who's here, and what heads I can turn.
There are several people of note here. One of which is your sire. Seems that he's conversing with the beautiful Caitlin Fargus. Both of them here tonight. Another notable figure that you see is the Seneschal, Liliana Howell. Seems to just be observing the goings-on for the moment, possibly having just finished a conversation herself. You see a couple of neonates whom you've not really bothered to learn the name of. And among those is a kind of young-looking man. Tall, but very, very well dressed. It's very apparent that this suit that he's wearing, be it that he's wearing a casual shirt underneath it versus a button down, is very well fitted to his figure.
Well, I'll make the plans as I end up going. I'll be sure to end up making sure to deal with Renee first. Mr. Stacy, after all, is the one I'm really here for, or closer to getting me where I need to be. Whereas keeping distance from Austin will probably do me some good.
The Seneschal looks very well dressed as well. She's sporting a very lovely dress, but that's to be expected. She is always adorned in very regal looking attire. Her hair kind of pulled up in a very soft bun. Austin wearing fairly typical clothing for himself, if a little nicer. He's wearing a maybe nice pants and a jacket, but it's obviously opened and has a t-shirt underneath. And Caitlin, well, she looks impeccable.
Of course.
But you have your eyes set on a particular tailor who had just said goodbye to a person who you don't know the name of and sees you coming forward.
Mr. Stace. Oh, yeah, nice to make your acquaintance.
Good evening, Miss
Dana Rain.
Miss Rain. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I have to end up congratulating on your accomplishment, being a tailor to the prince. No small feat.
No small feat indeed. It is through diligence to my craft and usefulness to our good prince that he has made requests of my work, and I am honored by it.
Must be something real special. No doubt. I'm left to end up wondering. As I end up wandering these nights, I end up hearing strange rumors. I thought you might be the one to end up meeting with in that way. To clarify for my own interest in keeping note on what's going on. Word is she ends up leaning in, that your coterie is currently looking at gaining a very prestigious member.
I suppose I should expect the rumors to have been circulating by now.
To be fair, I think you could only keep such things a secret for so long.
Too true.
Though, I am curious about the fit.
Oh.
Well, everything needs to be weighed and measured in your world, doesn't it? Needs to just be precise.
Yes.
And yet, that doesn't seem to be a match outside of you two having particular distinguished backgrounds. No, what is it that you two work on? How is it that one is any better of a fit than the other? If anything, I would be fearing for my own place in a coterie if I were to end up bringing about another rose. One is distinct. A bundle is what you bring to weddings and funerals.
That may be true of roses, but I've worked with Mr. Calhoun on several occasions already, and we find that our working together is rather mutual.
Mutually beneficial, I'm sure.
Yes.
And that could be for it. But that's neither here nor there. So it's finalized that you've agreed to take him in, that he decided to end up joining your prospects.
Well, when he put forward the idea that he was looking for prospects, I simply put our name in the hat.
I would like to insight check that.
Okay.
Specifically his own motivations on where he stands to gain from this, or if there's anything that he might not be telling.
much like any other venture that you've interacted with briefly, he's very flowery with his words. He you get the impression that he's honest about that. That he put his name forward after Kyle decided he would take on a coterie or join a coterie. But it might not have worked in that Kyle asked him is that he asked Kyle. You don't know exactly which way it actually went.
Well, it's good to keep your prospects open. No doubt.
Of course.
It's only prudent. So where does he spend his nights these days? Would expect you to be being sure to be at his side, only to end up aiding him, as you two have worked so well together.
We have. He had personal engagements tonight.
Personal? Nothing scandalous. Or
To
maybe
what?
it is. I hope.
To what end, I don't know. I tend not to pry into the personal lives of my coterie mates, unless it's necessary.
Oh, but the personal is always the most interesting part. Getting to know the make of the man.
Yes, well, what someone tells you and what someone does can be very different things.
I imagine so. Oh, but to be spurned on by grave rock feathers, stripped freshly from the wings of angels. I left to wonder. Personal engagement, wherever that end up taking some. See, I myself have also ended up wanting to take the measure of the man.
To join your little coterie, the dig team.
No, not at all. Wouldn't be a good fit.
Then whatever for.
What's the old term? Quid pro quo?
Quid pro quo. Forgive me, but I don't think I understand what you mean by that.
You want to know? I want to end up knowing on how to get a hold of the man. You tell me how to find him, and I'll gladly end up offering up my intention.
Seems like a fair enough trade. Where he often spends his time publicly is either at the university or at one of the hospitals somewhere here in town. Where exactly, I'm not certain. The man has been studying medicine for quite a number of years.
A bit of a doctor, then. Don't see
So I'm told.
the Calhoun name being tied to a nurse.
Well, I'm sure he's come a long way in 60 years.
No doubt. Well, on my front, it's actually quite simple. I'm concerned with where this little partnership may end up going. And given the proclivities of your particular line, maybe a little bit of exterior perspective may be in order. But mostly, I just want to hear the aftermath of stories when he gets in bed with Crazy.
Sorry, what?
It amuses me.
It amuses you.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, for you too?
I suppose. I find myself more satisfied with the utility of something.
True. I can respect that to a degree, but of course there's so much more. If we were only concerned about utility, you'd be doing the same thing every single night, ever shifting. I mean, you'd be more near dead than undead at that point. There would be no distinction between you and a corpse outside of location at a given moment. And we are so much more.
That is true, but we all have our place.
If you say so.
And some of us would rather have the rote of the everyday to be firmly grounded in than the chaos that comes with whimsy.
Of course, of course. Traditions, after all, are firmly implanted. Written in stone, in fact, never changing. But the context of the rules always change. And that is where things keep interesting. That is what amuses. And the same can be said for Kyle. The man himself may be weighed and measured, knowing his perfect place. His perfect, yet little existence. I'm just curious on what happens when the
Curious what happens to what?
I'm just curious what happens when the context changes, my dear.
Aha. Well, I would
And
say
I
good
could
luck
say
with
the
that.
same for you as well.
Well, I would say good luck with that.
Well, who needs luck when you have time?
Touché. Was there any other use that I could be of to you, Miss Rain?
Sure, but I'd hate to get indignant in the middle of Elysium. We save that kind of stuff for seedy motel rooms.
Well, not that I'm interested in that sort of thing.
I guess the blood doesn't, or the vitae doesn't quite flow the same way it used to when you were first made.
I'm older, but I'm not that old, Miss Rain.
I look forward to testing.
Certainly.
She leans in the almost a slight mockery of the cordial kiss on each cheek before she on occasion taking a quick glance back.
Who are you taking a glance at?
Well, mostly him. Mostly to see if he's watching my ass.
That
See
would
if the heart still beats.
that would be a wit's insight.
And I'm motivation. Would that apply at this point?
No.
Okay. 2, and it's not really important, so I'm not going to willpower it.
He's hard to read. He's exceptionally hard to read.
I almost feel disappointed. Oh well.
And with
I'll
that,
take a quick.
go ahead.
No, by all means.
Oh, I was just going to say, the two of you part ways. Was there...
Is there any other, outside of my own sire, is there anybody else who may have been looking or watching our particular conversation?
Seems to have caught Caitlin's eye. And the Seneschal seems to have noticed.
Any indication that either... Go ahead.
Who's to say whether or not she's actually curious enough to pry? Or if maybe she knows already.
I will simply make my way to the Senate at this point, if only to pay my respects.
Alright. Then you make your way towards Seneschal Liliana. She kind of looks up at you, holding what looks like a cup of tea in her hand.
That's just strange. I do love the outfit, though.
She's gorgeous.
She kind of... Dana kind of thinks back in her head and is like, why did I think that? She's never big on dresses or fanfare beforehand, yet right now she keeps her eyes on the Seneschal.
The lace, the pearls, the hair. All of it looks like it would be fun to wear sometime. Something similar, anyway.
Well, I'd hate to end up being a carbon copy, but might be. She lowers her head and does it as a tradition would dictate, trying to form to the court's ideas of protocol and etiquette.
Bonjour.
Nor was it strong. Hello. Hello, here, Seneschal. How? Pleasure to end up here seen. I wish to end up paying my respects before I leave. I only had to stop by, but I thought, at the very least, I could be graced with your presence if only for a moment.
I have a moment.
She looks across, just briefly picking an eye onto Austin for going back. I wish to end up thanking you very much for your recent hospitality, and I hope that when the solstice arrives to end up seeing you in all fan, and that it treats you gloriously.
I do appreciate the sentiments.
Alas, for me to end up doing more than just offer sentiment, I have to end up continuing about my. But while I was here, I would not pay you the disrespect, at least not stopping and acknowledge.
And I acknowledge it. But you
Dana
seem to
starts
have a question, Miss Rain.
I have all sorts of questions. Unfortunately, many can't be answered, or others are hesitant to answer them. If I may step forward.
She gestures for you to step forward. I have time for one question. My tea is getting cold.
I am looking to get in contact with Kyle A. Calhoun. Word is that he has already approached the tailor. And I believe unspoken rejection has already happened. He's supposed to be either in the hospitals or the university, though tonight he's supposed to be settling a personal matter. And yet, with his own seeking of coterie, I wish to end up me taking the measure of them.
Taking the measure of the man.
He carries the same name as our prince. Certainly,
Yes.
anyone of my age should be curious. Anyone not so would be a fool.
Yes. Yes, you are correct. Kyle has a lot to live up to. I think he will do magnificently.
I would like to ensure that, if possible.
Then I wish you luck.
Alas, as I stated, I have several questions, very few I can find answers for. But I appreciate you hearing the question nevertheless, Seneschal Howell.
Tell me, is there word from the border?
Believe it or not, my questions actually follow to that exact same precedent. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Unfortunately, that is also the reason why I can only end up stopping by for such a short visit. The moment I no longer receive answers, I must depart to find them on my own.
I trust you to do your work diligently then.
As I continue to do so every night.
God forbid that our prince be bothered by how do you say, hooligans?
Dana bites down on her bottom lip a bit. Yes, of course not. But for that to end up happening, particular amenities have to be made. And, well, securing the position of one who shares the name Calhoun in this city, well, that certainly would go a long way. I'd like to believe so anyway.
Well, I trust that you would know better than I.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. After all, you're not the seneschal simply for being the most gorgeous thing in the room.
Well, that is very true.
I will take my leave at your whim, Seneschal Howe, and continue on with my investigation.
Thank you for your report.
I will be sure to end up giving you any information should that information change. Be well, and may the night kiss you gently.
And may you find what you're looking for.
And with that,
Good
I
night.
take a step back. Good night.
And as you're walking away, you do see that she looks like she is kind of just holding the teacup in both hands, kind of gently, and looks as if she's just smelling it. Or hiding a sip. It's kind of hard to tell.
Malkavians, what are you supposed to tell? Word is that every last one of them is crazy. Sees things. I have eyes, I can see just fine. But, unfortunately, I have to you to lick the boot of a seneschal, play nice with the Ventru, and have to end up finding my way to end up finding Kyle A. Calhoun in the hopes of somehow bridging a gap between them and another crazy. But so long as crazy does the job, who am I to complain?
Who indeed? But for now, we're going to pause for Dana and Rodney to get back together with themselves and possibly other members of their coterie to go over the information they've learned and possibly get a report from Anastasia. But that's for next week. What you think?
I think Rodney almost got staked.
I'm so sorry.
He was very lucky to escape. Yeah, that was a little close. I'm also wondering how Rodney getting hit ended this Malkavian's night. That's kind of curious.
We'll have to find out next time.
Is what did he do to interfere with her stuff?
For now, we're gonna do some experience stuff. So, who fulfilled a desire? Or something towards an ambition?
Nope.
Did you, Derek? Boo. Oh well.
Nope, not this one.
Alright. Well, I've already got the audience poll put up for
Hey.
who stole the show according to the audience. But we're going to get on to our regular experience doling out, in that everybody gets one for showing up.
Hey.
Yay! And then it's amongst the two of you
Oops.
that you're going to be debating who had moved the plot the furthest, who had the best scene, and who had the best line. So, plot mover.
Hi.
Yeah. Derek with Dana. Dana is just moving pieces around the board where
That's what she was designed to do.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what she was designed to
she's
do.
setting things up. So I'm going to say Dana.
All right. There's no arguing about that one. Who had our best scene?
Rodney.
I want to say Rodney punching the alligator in the face.
To me, the thing that really put it over the top is, I don't care if I lose an arm.
He just wants out.
GTFO. Yep. GTFO. Yes.
Oh shit.
Also, hi Maddie. Yes. But yes,
I'm
and
gonna
it's
say
agreed on Rodney for the scene. Best line.
I want to say Dana for that comment to the person that she was talking to regarding not being able to get the vitae to flow the way that it used to. That was so cheeky.
It was pretty
That
cheeky.
wasn't even, the one that I would have given it. I'd still agree, Dana, but the one I would have given it to was the tragedy of it is I'm going to miss that smell when you're gone.
It's true. She's warming up to him.
Oh, I love Dana so much.
She is.
You actually like her.
I love her.
She's a gem. She's gorgeous. I love it.
I love her. She's absolutely a treasure.
I have a soft spot though for sassy Toreadors.
Hi. I also play a sassy Toreador.
Sassy Toreadors have a special place in my heart. And you can thank Velda for that.
It's true facts.
True.
Love it. Love to see it. But yeah, what do you guys think? What you guys thinking?
I think I have 3 experience I'd like to spend and give my first thought into subterfuge.
Nice. Subterfuge it is. And that's even before the polls closed. God damn.
Yep.
Does Rodney have any he's spending right now?
I don't know. I've got 7. How much is it to increase my blood potency?
20.
Is it 20?
Yeah, 20 to get it level 2.
Yeah.
10 times the amount of blood dots you're looking to get.
The other thing I'd be looking at is increasing my obfuscate, but I believe that's just as expensive, or almost as expensive. It's like 10, isn't it?
It's 5 times, so it would be 10 for level 2.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bank for now, I think.
Bank for now. All right. Thoughts? Are the hamster wheels in your brains turning?
Rodney has the hamster wheel, and he's currently stuck on, I nearly died again.
Oops. I don't mean to pick on you that way.
We used to make jokes about that in the old Detroit, where whenever you had to end up figuring out and masterminding the situation, it's referred to as Hamtaro on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And once you kind of hit that point where it's like, it's too much, I'm overloaded. It's trying to imagine a hamster going so fast that it loses footing and it's all of a sudden spinning on the wheel.
Yeah.
Are we going to tie up the pole again? It looks like it's so far.
That's the audience's point.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, if you guys are having fun, then that's what really matters. That
an absolute victory.
I'm just amazed that Rodney made it out of there alive.
As am I. As am I. I'm starting to learn this obfuscate thing.
Zula's no pushover.
Oh no.
What was that that you said about obfuscate there?
Oh, just because of the way this, like, I'm still learning on how to set this up. So on occasion, I'll just completely disappear. It's like, apparently I'm learning obfuscate.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
Ah, yes. You obfuscate behind Dana's pretty face.
Something that Rodney's probably going to start doing. He's like, nah, I'm done with people. Fuck that shit. Definitely deals with animals better than he does with people.
Yeah, Zula May's no pushover. You got pretty lucky with that one.
Oh, yeah.
And she wasn't really willing to push herself either.
He did learn a few things, though.
Good. That was the intent. That was the point.
Particularly about them not really having a lot out there to eat, including animals now. Yeah. There were a few things that she said that kind of confirmed that in his head. So.
It was time to give the Anarchs a face. That actually talked to you a little bit.
A singular face.
A singular face.
He was hoping to get through that without running into anybody, because he just wanted to scout out the area. But no, he ended up running into the damn alligator that was watching him. And she just happened to be right there.
You essentially walked up on her backyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
You walk up on her backyard, she's gonna know about it.
But
thankfully, that's
now he
all
knows where
going
she
according
is.
to plan.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Before we got onto this broadcast, I was going into venture mode. And that didn't fully leave.
Fair enough. Yeah, so
for those of you who don't know how to play a Ventru in any political climate, research the Xanatos Gambit. And there's Coffee going for the wiki.
No, not yet, because I'm still broadcasting. So
once the broadcast finishes, however.
But yeah, thoughts, schemes,
plans. I have so many things.
I'm looking forward to the result of failure.
You're looking forward to the result?
Yeah, because all I need is a name to know exactly who it was you ran into.
He didn't get a name. He got a description.
That'll work.
He got a description.
Which would be slightly obfuscated by the dark, but yes.
Yes.
But the alligator is important.
The alligator is very important. He got a lot of information, like what his cats were saying was a good deal of information too for him.
Who knew? Role-playing cats would actually be something that I would be doing in this broadcast. Who knew?
You're an expert. Nope. I'm not gonna lie to you, Moxie, on an out-of-character level. It's like your death was just another part of the equation.
Oh, I know.
It's tied.
It's tied.
But he escaped.
Hi, Clan, hi.
Sure.
Womp, 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 womp.
Good call.
Wait, I didn't Derek dice it?
No. We coffee diced it.
Yay!
But, with that being said, that concludes the experience portion and the kind of wind down of portion of this broadcast. So, I want to remind you all that we do have a YouTube. So please go and subscribe. If we hit 100 followers, we get a custom URL for YouTube. And I want to be able to put youtube.com/CoffeeCat Presents on there. So go do that if you haven't already. Exclamation point socials or exclamation point YouTube for the bot. I think both would lead you there. But I do have cast members, and they deserve shoutouts too. So, Derek, what you got coming up?
Well, I have, you know what, screw what I have coming up. Okay, I need to end up letting you guys all end up knowing this because it is not well known enough information. So I need to end up saying the record straight, okay? CoffeeCat does commissions. If you are looking for commissions, you need to end up doing so right now. Boy needs to end up getting recognition. Second, not only for art such as myself, as on drawing on the macabre Tuesdays through Wednesdays, but he also is kind of getting into a whole bunch of terrain making. And he is, he's still kind of like, can I? So I'm pulling the trigger on him. He does end up having, doing terrain. And if you want to end up getting terrain for your tabletop, reach out to the boy because, god damn it, somebody needs to plug him. And if that's not good enough, you end up having to understand that the man ends up having the YouTube channel that ends up having all the backlogs. You're going to do yourself a huge favor in understanding the context of not only A War in the Soul City, but the greater bit of our own little Twitch metaverse when it comes down to the Vampire the Masquerade Twitch scene. So check out San Antonio. Link is right there. You're going to end up having a good time. And you get to end up seeing what are the events that will be happening later on in this chronicle, as this is a prequel, which means you know the car crash is coming. You just get to end up enjoying the ride with us all. That being said, I'm tossing it back to Moxie.
So are the nerds doing anything, Mox? Do you know?
Same old. We're doing, we got Tuesday and Wednesday night streams. That's Tuesday and Wednesday night Australian time, which I believe is Monday, Tuesday night, Tuesday morning, American. So yeah, come check us out. We do all sorts of stuff, a lot of games, mostly online. I think we're doing Minecraft and a mix of different online stuff. So come check us out.
Yay, yeah, Minecraft!
Yay! But yes, when all is said and done, please check out all of the socials, because that's where you can find everything. If you can't remember that, all of the doohickey majiggers, just go to CoffeeCatPresents.com. That's it. CoffeeCatPresents.com. So, yeah, that does it for us here in Jackson, Mississippi. So, say goodnight, everybody.
Never again.
Oh, I love this plan. In no way will it end in bloodshed and tears.